sign something?
Yep.
Always. Okay, is everybody in now? Okay. All right, I'll go ahead and open, call to order our Hildebran Town Council meeting. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for being here. We will begin, as always, with a moment of silence. So if you'll join with me. Thank you. Mike, would you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, review and adoption of the agenda. So look over your agenda and make a motion whenever you're ready. All in favor? Thank you. Approval of the minutes from August 22nd, 2022, the regular meeting minutes. Look over those and you make a motion whenever you're ready.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
All right, all in favor? Thank you. Okay, number 5, public comments. Got 4.
Do you still have the sheet? Yes, that's right. What's your name?
Joe Klein.
Joe Klein?
The first speaker is Rick Barnes. Paragraph 3 minutes from Tony Stark.
I brought paperwork also. My name's Rick Barnes. I am the Eastburg Youth Athletic Organization's president as of now, anyway. And I rent TV Live rents the gym, and we play football, we play baseball when we can, play indoor soccer in the gym. I play as basketball. The last basketball season, we went into the gym to find one of the goals was tied up with a strap. The goals in there have an actuator on them that lets them raise and lower, and they have to be lowered for the youth to play on 8-foot goals. It took over 2 months to get that fixed, which went all the way through our practice to get ready for the regular season. I had to go to the other side of the county and get hang-on goals to hang on the goals so we could actually play our first games in the gym that season last year. The only way it got fixed was I had to buy the actuator, and I had to help the maintenance guy put that in. When that was fixed, I went and spoke to the town, and it was agreed on at that time that we would be moved from the small side of the storage in the back to the larger side. Right now, our small side, we don't even have this much storage because it has all the shower stalls still in there. And with the blue building being removed, we have baseball equipment we have to take back over there too. So we have no room for our equipment. And it was agreed that we would be moved to the larger side that has no showers. The showers are separate from the large side. And when we had our contract renewed this year, we were still in the small side. The agreement was I would not charge the town for the actuator if we got to move to the larger side. It did not happen. Another issue with the gym, we tried to get a handle installed because we would remove the table.
Got
That
30
was
seconds.
a fire hazard. And it took forever to get that done. Between 2006 and 2022, the beginning of 2022, EBYO paid the town of Hildebran $65,420 for rent of the gym. That's an average of $4,674, except for the 2 years that we were not allowed in there because of the fire and the cold table. And if you would read over the rest of this, I would greatly appreciate it. We would like to have the gym at no rent because the rest of the facilities in Burke County are not charging any youth organizations rent. And this has been brought to the attention of the town before, and the paperwork was given to the town. So thank you for your time, and I'm sorry I went over. I'm a teacher, I'm long-winded.
Mr. Joe Klein?
Yeah.
Step on up. You'll have 3 minutes, sir.
I got, asked to, but get some old brick and stuff on the foundation and golden tire, hang some of it up. I got a road that I need to rust fill in. I'm trying to get some of that stuff built ruts in.
Are you saying the brick or the concrete or?
Both.
Okay. Well, I don't know if I'm supposed to respond.
Because this is an opportunity for public comment. If that is something that you'd like them to respond to, we'll certainly look into that, but they're generally don't respond at meetings.
Yeah, well,
They generally don't respond. This is an opportunity for you to comment on whatever issue you want. So that's something that if you want to submit a request, we can look into that. But that's not generally something you're going to answer here. You probably need to fill out your information on here so that somebody get hold of it.
You put your phone number back there.
That's all we have.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you. All right, number 6, public hearings. 6A, ZMA 2022-2 regarding reinstating the mobile home park overlay on 208 US Highway 70 East. And I now open the public hearing to hear comments from the public regarding the reinstating of mobile home overlay at 208 US Highway 70. The council will allow 3 minutes per speaker. We'll have a 30-minute total. And if there is a lot of speakers speaking on the same thing, if they could just appoint a spokesperson. But we will start with Rachel.
Hi, I'm Rachel Wooster. I'm the new planner with the town of Hildebran, contracted with the Western Piedmont Council of Governments. I'm just gonna review this packet with y'all, really fast. So some background was that, the applicant Highway 70 Land Trust requested a zoning map amendment to reinstate the mobile home overlay district of 208 US 70 East. This was something that was heard back at the planning board June 7th, and on June 27th, the Hildebran Town Council voted for the removal of this mobile home overlay on both properties, 208 US 70 East, which is what we're hearing right now, and then 327 US Highway 70 East. So as you can see, there's a photo of the property here with the zoning layer as is top, and then the property is at the zoning layer. Just a reminder, this change would allow for the property owner to add additional manufactured and mobile homes to the property as long as they comply with the regulations listed in section 8.3. The staff recommendation, I believe that this request is not reasonable and in the best interest of the town of Hildebran. Due to prior precedent set by planning staff, the planning board recommendation provided on the June 7th meeting, and the town council recent vote to remove the mobile home overlay. Additionally, this request is unreasonable as it's not in the best interest of the town due to lack of density provided from the mobile home overlay compared to affordable high density housing, such as apartments, townhomes, and condo units. As the town of Hildebran has experienced population loss, there's this need for high density housing that will grow our tax base and increase opportunities to provide public services and encourage population growth. And finally, the comprehensive development plan calls for prioritization of apartments and mixed-use developments, and the comprehensive development plan states it's important to provide a selection of housing options, including affordable housing. Apartments are an option for affordable housing. Apartments located near retail centers, downtowns, and other activity centers that would preserve our land through increased density by encouraged walking and biking. Also, as I stated, the planning board recommendation on September 6th voted to recommend denial of this request. And that was due to the recommendation to remove the overlay prior and council's complementary action. And as you can see, there is motion to deny and motion to approve. And
Alright, thank you. Do we have any public comment?
There are 3 members that are signed up. The first one is Eric Gabriel. Step on up, you'll have 3 minutes.
Yeah, my name is Eric Gabriel. I'm the trustee of the Highway 70 Land Trust. My family, we view ourselves as good Samaritans. Every day I get a call from about maybe 1 to 5 people. We have a sign out there on the road. People in various situations in life, if we are able to put homes there, actually it doesn't matter for me personally. We don't need the money, we don't need the rental income. I personally don't care. The only thing that I care about is the people who I hear from. It's hard for me to sleep at night and not do anything. So I'm really requesting you to it's just a little slip. There's 4 developed lots already there. Got water, got septic, there's electric poles there. Everything's ready, no extra development. Apartment density, it's about 150,000 per unit. I could put a unit there for 20,000, all done. Very affordable, very helpful. It would look nice. It'd be a relatively new home, probably like a 80s, but remodeled like an apartment. And density, there's plenty of land around that can be developed as far as density goes. There's a huge need for affordable housing. Most people, they earn about $3,000 a month. That would mean about $1,000 for rent. Most apartments are $1,500. That's actually unaffordable for the people that work at wherever you go, those people that serve you. I know you want to get tax revenue. That might be done through income taxes, but for the people that have restricted incomes, or possibly disabilities, maybe retired people, they need a place that's affordable, that's truly affordable. And that's what I'm here to speak on their behalf. I sent a message out to our 50 or so tenants. Only a couple of them have come, so they can say whatever they want to say. Thank you.
Next people we have is Jamie Carter.
Is that with her baby? Her baby talk.
see if she wants to go, we can come back to it. Ms. Carter, you'll have 3 minutes. I'll give you 1 for 30 seconds.
Sorry, guys. I was just going to speak on behalf of other moms, parents, like me. I work at Geiger Furniture, the factory right here in Hildebran. Also live in Hildebran. Used to rent from our mayor. I think the affordable housing would be a great opportunity. It would really help a lot of people. As long as they would, comply with keeping up with things, maintaining work, things like they should. But it would really help a lot of people like it has me. People with families. There's not a lot of housing out there that people can afford. Everything's really expensive anymore. Even the affordable housing is hard to maintain and take care of your children and everything that you need to do in life. So if that could be possible, it'd be really appreciated by me and a lot of other people. Thank you.
The final speaker is Diane Spiegel.
My name's Diana Spiegel. I've been a resident of Hildebran for 31 years, been home for 28. I've raised 5 children here in Hildebran. I have owned personally and managed a 28-unit apartment complex in Hildebran. I also own and manage 8 rental houses in Hildebran. So I feel like I'm pretty qualified to talk on the subject of rental property in Hildebran and what Hildebran needs. I was told not too long ago that the citizens of Hildebran weren't capable of making decisions in the best interest of their own town. I was told more specifically, quote, from a gentleman who is not around here, that he knew better what Hildebran needed than we did. Well, we live here, we work here, we play here, we raise our kids, our grandkids here. I'm fully invested in the town of Hildebran because I plan to stay here. My family built part of this town. My kids are going to live here, my grandkids are going to live here. Right or wrong, I have to live with, and you have to live with the consequences of whatever decisions we make as a town because we live here. Okay? How can anyone who doesn't live here say that they know a town better than the very people who breathe the air and walk the streets? Changing gears, coming out of COVID, we've done a lot of changes and a lot of planning for the future of Hildebran. We've got a park that's being planned. We now have a code enforcement officer that has got a little more than a bark to him. He's actually getting some things done and helping us uncover some of the hidden beauty and hidden gems of the city. Not too long ago, an open community meeting was held. Residents were encouraged to give input about what they thought the future of Hildebran should look like. Everybody had a different idea of how to get there, but everybody's goal was the same. Our town vision is one of progress and moving forward to make Hildebran a place that people and businesses want to be, while maintaining the small family feel and charm that's kept us here for generations. On June 27th, a draft of the Hildebran Comprehensive Plan was adopted. It was compiled from data, from research, from public comments. Lots of things were discussed: the need for multifamily housing, mixed-use facilities, business, industry. All of these were highlighted in the comprehensive plan. Land is a precious resource, and when possible, we have to be very wise in ensuring that it is used responsibly and in line with what we need and want for the growth of our town. We shouldn't submit to being bullied, degraded, or shamed by outsiders seeking to exploit our resources and residents for personal gain. We're not Charlotte, we're not Asheville. We never will be, nor do we want to be. We're Hildebran.
That's all we have.
Okay, does the council have any comment? Or we'll do the the mini storage? Now we do the mini storage.
You close this one and then read.
Okay, I'll close the one meeting and now I'll open another one. Okay. And let me read it. It is for ZTA 2022-7 regarding mini storage in the central business district.
Hi again. So the background on this one was town initiate contact of the allowance of mini storage units in our central business district that's currently allowed through a special use permit. And there's some concerns that that's not compatible with the comprehensive development plan's guidance regarding our future. And it's gonna be an 8.5 EC of our town zoning ordinance that will be revised to remove the mini storage as a special use permit in our central business district. So the changes proposed, like I said, it would be to remove them, and this change would render any existing storage facilities non-conforming, meaning they could not expand on what is already existing there. And then my staff recommendation is that this request is reasonable. The spirit of the central business district is intended that this district shall develop and be maintained as a tightly knit core activity. Pedestrian traffic is a key element to a successful downtown. There's pedestrian facilities that provide safe means of walking, and by nature, storage units are more spread out and therefore do not provide a close-knit area for activities. And it does not facilitate safe downtown pedestrian activity, and they're typically void during the day and do not have a lot of use from the public, long-term use. So in accordance with the Town of Hildebran Comprehensive Development Plan, the central business district zoning contains regulations to encourage a downtown feel that's aesthetically pleasing and pedestrian friendly. Regulations to achieve the downtown atmosphere include parking placed on the rear and side and some other aesthetic regulations. The purpose of the mini storage unit just does not fit within the intended use of central business district, as it's not facilitating a walkable downtown atmosphere. Mini storage will increase traffic needs from customers dropping off and loading storage, and this increased automobile traffic has a possibility of causing safety concerns. And just as a reminder, the Town of Hildebran does allow special use permits in general manufacturing and highway business. There is special use permit as well for mini storage. And because of this, the staff recommends proceeding. And on September 6th, the planning board voted to recommend approval. And then you'll see the action needed on that last page.
All right, thank you. Is there any public comment on this subject? Okay, does the council have any comment? All right. I will now close this public hearing. And we will move on to 7, old business 7A. Consider approval of ZMA 2022-2 regarding reinstating of the mobile home park overlay on 208 US Highway 70 East. What is the pleasure of the council?
Anything to say?
No.
Anything to say?
No, if I could do, I'd like to make a motion. Michael Street make a motion to deny zoning map amendment 2022 to reinstate mobile home overlay park overlay at 208 West, or US Highway 70 East. The request is not consistent with the Town of Hildebran comprehensive plan and is not in the public best interest due to the needs for increased residential density to support economic development and promote population growth, as well as the request is not consistent and is in the best interest of the town due to the most recent majority decision to remove the overlay from the property.
Okay, all in favor? All right, thank you. 7B, consider approval of ZTA 2022-7 regarding mini storage in the central business district. What is the pleasure of the council? Or does anyone have anything to say? Someone like to make a motion?
I make a motion that that request be denied. Or
There's-
community storage in the central business district.
There's a paragraph that you have to read.
Okay,
It is on the very last page under 6B7. And you would read the first one because you're approving the removal of the mini storage.
should I find it? Okay. I, Jody York, make a motion to deny request to amend section 8.5B.7 to
If you want to approve to remove it, you want to remove the mini storage?
Yes.
Okay, that's the first one.
Oh, okay, sorry,
That's okay.
my mistake. I, Jody York, make a motion to approve the removal of mini storage as a special use in section 8.5B.7 of the town of Hildebran zoning ordinance. I find that the proposed text amendment is consistent with the town of Hildebran comprehensive plan due to the desire of the central business district to be a tight-knit core promoting use where pedestrian facilities are present and pedestrian activity is higher to allow for safe means of travel of shops, businesses, and parking areas. The request to remove mini storage as a special use option is reasonable and in the public interest due to mini storage being an automobile-oriented business operation with patrons arriving to load and unload and the exit in vehicles.
Okay, all in favor? All right, thank you. 7C, presentation of contract for attorney search services from Western Piedmont Council of Government. And we have Ashley Bolick. What happened to Anthony Stauffer?
I'll let him in the office.
Okay.
He's over Bojack.
Yeah, he's over Bojack and getting a sweet tea. No, I apologize on behalf of Anthony. He couldn't be here tonight. He had a family obligation that he needed to attend to. So I am planning. So I thank you, Mayor and Council, for allowing me to be here. I also want to thank you for taking action at your last meeting to authorize your town manager to negotiate a contract with the COG for us to help you in the process of hiring your next town attorney. Of course, it will be very, very hard to fill the shoes of Mr. Redmond, but we will certainly do our best to help you in this process. So if you will allow me just a few minutes, I wanted to come to the mayor and council tonight to, again, offer our sincere appreciation for trusting us to help you in this process, as well as to walk through the process, the timeline with you, and to give you a chance to look at the RFQ, which we have in draft form, and we're hoping to get out this week so we can get the ball rolling on behalf of the town. So again, my name is Ashley Bolick, and I am the Director of Administrative Services and Human Resources for Western Piedmont Council of Government. For those that I haven't had an opportunity to meet, I think there's a few council members I've never met before. I wanted to offer a really quick brief overview of the COG. Of course, we were created in 1968, and we are owned and operated by our local governments. So we are not unique in the state of North Carolina. We are one of 16 COGs in the state of North Carolina, but by my humble opinion, the best COG in the state of North Carolina. We are governed by a board, which Mike is our alternate, Ben is our board member. So we thank you for your time serving on that 35-member board. But our elected officials and those 28 local governments and the 7 appointed delegates to that board really give us direction on which way we should go as an organization. We have 66 professional staff. Rachel and your code enforcement officer, Chad, are 2 of the other 66 staff. And we are managed by Mr. Anthony Starr, who's our executive director. We're given authority under General Statute 160A, Part 2, to do anything that our member governments want us to do except taxation, eminent domain, and ordinance making. So those are the only exceptions to what we could do on your behalf. But we essentially serve you. That's why we're here. We want to be
your hands and feet out in the community doing the work that you want us to do. So we have 7 different departments. Administration is the department that I manage. We also have a financial services department, area agency on aging, community economic development, community regional planning, which is the department that both Rachel and Chad work in, regional public housing authority, and workforce development board. So, moving back to the search process, we manage executive searches on behalf of our local governments and have been doing that for quite some time. We are currently helping the town of Longview, neighbors next door, in their search for their manager. So as you know, Mr. David Jones retiring at the end of the year, and we are assisting them in that process. We are also assisting the town of Brookford, another neighbor, with their police chief search. So their chief of police is stepping down at the end of the year, and they've contracted with us to help them in that process. So we have also done searches in the past for the Longview deputy police chief or major position, administrator manager searches for Gangwell, Conover, Newton, Caldwell County, Talbot, and Hildebran. So most specific to this search, we have assisted the city of Shelby with their attorney search, and that was back in August of 2020. The main purpose of this is to offer logistical support, really. A little bit of expertise in the process. This is your decision. We are not in any way making or influencing your decision on who you should hire. We are here strictly to provide logistical support. You maintain all the control. You are the one choosing who to talk to, who to interview, and who to contract with for this attorney position. We provide assistance with advertising, drafting the RFQ, which is what we'll look at in just a second, collecting all of the responses, organizing, screening per your criteria, the criteria that mayor and council sets, coming up with interview questions, doing the scheduling and the interviewing for the process. We will observe. We do not participate in the interview process. We will offer our insight if you like it, but we are just there to be your hands and feet. So if you will, I've provided each of you a manila folder, and in that folder is a copy of the search overview and timeline. I believe you've seen this before, but the dates have changed slightly because we wanted to have an opportunity to get in front of you and present this and show this to you so you could give any feedback that you may have. The most important part of that document is probably the timeline, which is on the back of the page, the overview page. So as I said, we are getting ready to take a quick look at the RFQ, which we hope to distribute by this Thursday, the 29th. This is a little bit different from some of our department head and manager searches in that this position is a contract position. So you as mayor and council, like we did when we assisted with the town manager search, you can't do this in closed session because they're not an employee. They are a contracted member of your staff. So the way that we have suggested that we do this is that 2 members of your council be appointed to a search committee, search team, and your staff and those 2 members will actually be part of the process. So you're kind of communicating with those members to give them the guidance that you as a whole, mayor and council, want from this process. So again, position hopefully will be advertised this week. We recommend that you advertise for at least 30 days. So that would have us getting the applications in, or the submittals, I should say, by October 31st. We will review those, organize those, and deliver those to the members of the committee. And you get everything. We don't withhold anything from you. You get everything. So we would probably by the early part of November, mid-November, meet with the team, the 2 members of the council who have been chosen to fill that role, to go over all the submittals, and then they choose by the direction of the council mayor who it is that you want to interview. We, the pod, will help you schedule those and move forward from there. Once you've done the interviews, you let us know who your favorite person is. We do the background checks, which takes a couple days. You come back in regular session and make a recommendation at the council meeting to move forward with the contracted employee that the council has selected. So that's kind of a real quick rundown of the process. Does anyone have any questions about the process itself or the suggested timeline? Okay, so the next handout you have, I believe, is the request for qualification for legal services, dated issue September 29th, 2022. So again, I believe you may have seen this. And this is where we really want to get your feedback if there's anything that you would like to see changed. And you have some time to review this and get your feedback either to me or the members of the committee, the search committee. I'm not sure, has that decision been made yet? Who will be serving on that?
Yeah, we picked Wendell and Mike Strick.
Wendell.
Yeah, that's good.
There. And Mike. Okay. So if you would like to take a look at this and make sure you let myself or the members of your committee know, I'll be emailing them later this week to get your final approval on this RFQ. So the basic things that we have listed as qualifications is that the attorney must be an attorney in good standing, and I'm on page 3, I'm sorry, I failed to mention that. Must be an attorney in good standing, licensed to practice law in the state of North Carolina. Must have 2 or more years of demonstrated experience in municipal government law. Must be actively involved in educational opportunities, conferences, courses, etc. Provided to municipal government attorneys through the School of Government or other educational bodies. Must have broad experience in practice of law, verbally in contracts, employment law, criminal law, and be knowledgeable of the legal frameworks required to local governments and the public sector. Whole list of things listed there. Must be timely. I think this is probably one of the biggest concerns or things, feedback we got from Logan, that we have someone that's timely in responding to the request of the town. Should have land use experience, should be able to demonstrate a qualified backup in case they're not available, and should be geographically located within 60-minute commute of Hildebran. So those are the things that we're suggesting or putting out there in draft that we would be looking for, you may be looking for in the submittals for the request for qualifications. And that, of course, is up to you. This is your process. This is your search. We want to make sure that you get the best fit for the town of Hildebran. And if you think that there should be something else listed there, we will make sure it happens. Any initial thoughts or questions or comments about those qualifications? Okay. I think I have covered everything that I intended to cover tonight. I hope that if you have any questions, you feel free to reach out to myself or Anthony Starr, and we'll be happy to help you with this process. I will reach out to Wendell, Mayor, and Mike Stroop to get a final approval on the draft of the RFQ and hopefully get that posted this week. Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
7D, continue discussing regarding on how to incorporate the Tower Bridge into the Tower Rebuild project. This was something that we just postponed to the August meeting. Well, do you have any comments?
No, you've got 15 to 20,000 bricks that you can use, but some of them are in good shape, some of them aren't. So you may have that many bricks, but you don't have that many you can use. So you may want to decide you want to use it for pavers, the inside of the tower. As you remember, Bob Townley said, these bricks, they're not ones you're going to want to use for structural uses. So it's really up to you. I mean, where do you want them?
So you use it for
Pavers.
Inside the tower.
wherever walkway to the tower.
Well, in the front walkway where you're going down into the park.
Yeah. I had that same idea.
That's why I think that's would be the best place for them, because they're not structurally sound enough to put into anything.
Work for a walkway though.
Yeah, that's what I said, it's,
And they'll still be on the side.
One other thing that I'd actually thought about is we plan on building a veterans wall out there where we put things up.
that could be used for that.
And then we'll put some flags and names on just build a nice brick wall.
That's a great idea.
Good.
Yeah, would you have a preference on, priority? So, yeah, you might could use it for both, but,
There's enough.
yeah, if there's enough, but if you had to choose, or if you had to say, if you had to talk to the architect and give him advice on which one to start with, would you prefer to use it for the memorial or for the papers first?
The veterans
I think
wall,
there's too many for a memorial. If, you know, if you're not gonna have enough to do the wall, and you're gonna do the memorial, you're gonna have bricks left over. And then you're not gonna be able to do the wall with it, because you don't have enough.
My first preference would be the memorial.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Preference.
I have no problem with that, it's just, you know, there's gonna be bricks left over there, but there's gonna be more bricks there than what you're gonna need.
If we could get a
Give them
estimate
what?
on how many bricks, it's probably, you know, like we can adjust the number of bricks we use in different places by length and width and height and things like that. We could get somebody to do like.
Make them go so far to walk with
Yeah,
whatever.
I mean, we build
Put 'em up.
a 10-foot wall, 20-foot long, you know, or the wall could be 20 feet long, 5 feet wide, or it could be 30 feet long, 6 feet long, you know.
Memorial first, then the.
Yeah. In my opinion, but.
That's what I say, memorial then the wall. That's my opinion.
Yeah, and one of the things we can do is we can make sure with the architect that they're structurally sound enough to use for a memorial. And have him bring that back to you. If they're not, you know, we can let you know, but we can obviously let him know your preference is to use them for the, memorial wall.
Okay.
Is that a consensus memorial wall?
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay, 7E, continue review of proposal for reorganization of the Hildebran Auditorium. And the pockets here too. Been very patient. Come up and explain.
My name is Bob. Hello, I'm an architect. We moved from, just give a very quick, we moved from Long Island to Morganton in '96. My wife is a physician, works at Broad Hospital. My daughter, she's a social worker, she also works at Broad. I've been in the community, you know, most of the time. I've served that the Burke County zoning board for 2 terms. I served in the City of Morganton Historic Preservation Commission, also served in the Burke County Library Board. I was chairman for 1 term. I was approached by this, by Robert and Mike Stroop, you know, to somehow reorganize this auditorium. So first thing I did, I came and I watched the performance. You are performing very good job. So what I understood, the sound system, you know, not to put down the city, town of Hildebran, but the sound system is not really good. It's an excellent building. It's a historic building, there's a space there, and the visuals are very good. Lighting is also excellent, AC works. I've mentioned everything in that. I think I gave you the synopsis of what needs to be done. And so my recommendation is a big setback. You already have it. First of all, right now, there's over 500, seating capacity. And if you do any changes to the existing building, North Carolina Building Code requires you to comply with the existing building code. You cannot have 500 seat auditorium without a sprinkler system. So the limit is 300 and less. So that was the determining factor, for designing the auditorium. And the building has a very high, imposing and monumental entrance. But when you come inside, you have this little restroom it's totally obstructing the, the entry, access. So my proposal was to, increase the existing bathroom, male, female, and create an open lobby. And that is about 360 square feet. And that should be enough. Not in a standard like other cities, but that should be enough for the gathering. And you have, and the ticket goes one side and you have the concession stand on the other side. And with the central aisle, you come into the auditorium. And the seating would be, I have some example of the seats, and the seating actually varies from $300 to $1,000 per chair. So that's something, again, depending on the budget, we have to decide what you want to do. The stage right now, it's too big, so I'm sort of using the visual, I created an area for the stage where you change the excuse me, the dressing areas for male, female, and the shower and the restrooms. And by North Carolina building code, you have to have a handicap access to the stage. So I'm putting a chairlift. And 300 people in case of emergency. North Carolina building code requires, exits in a remote location. So in case there is a fire in the front, so people need to get out on both sides. If there's a fire, in the front, it's not a problem, they can get out. So, the difference is level from the ground to the auditorium is about 48 inches, pretty high. And to create a ramp, it's gonna take a long time and it's gonna be expensive. So I discussed with the county chief building inspector, and I decided that we could create a area of rescue where the handicapped person can stay there and then they'll be rescued in case of emergency. And about the sound, the side walls, they're kind of how shall I put it? It's not quite interesting. So to create some auditorium atmosphere, you need to create some elements that would increase the visual and at the same time also control the sound. Auditoriums are like a fan shape because of the sound. If it is a straight, what happens, there's a, what do you call it, echo and sound standing wave. So that's that. With that, it will minimize any, in other words, you disperse the sound. And you'll have some lighting, at the same time it will give you a character in this auditorium. There are lighting control and sound control. Right now they're kind of open, so they need to be in an enclosed space, separate from the audience. And what else am I missing? Pretty much that's basically it. And I don't know, depending on the budget, you can develop a scenario that we do this. And so I can create a, well, the important thing is to, to fix the entry. Would be, change the seating, but really be the dressing areas. And basically, if you have any questions, happy to answer you. I have these big plans, you want to look at it? You do have a smaller, small size, okay.
Yeah, third page of the handout.
Yeah.
Now, where is the dressing area?
Dressing area on this side, the reason because that is actually a dressing area right now. And where's it, is that a dressing area? Yes. On the right hand side, and I located all the plumbing on that back wall. It's too many might cost. So I take, and that way you don't have to, cut the floors or put new plumbing lines. And the main, female dressing area is a little bit larger than the male because it,
You can sit down now.
Sorry about that. And, but there are, there are four chairs on each side. And the whole place is ADA compliant. There's wheelchair turning radius. There, and
I was thinking we needed more dressing area. I know that one room is there.
yeah.
I was thinking we're gonna put a couple more dressing rooms behind us.
I think we just need to do the seats and make it pliable and then see where it goes from there.
Yeah, first.
I mean, I don't see going out spending all this money to do everything. Let's start with the seats
Right.
and make it compliance and then go from there. And then do it in steps.
Well, the people renting the
If you
place,
spend all this money and don't bring any money back in, then you're sitting there with nothing.
the seats are, for anybody renting, the seats are the least important part of it. They want something that they can use for their kids, for the recitals, for dressing rooms, for a bathroom.
Bob, just out of curiosity, if we do anything there, doesn't ADA pretty much have to be done
Yes,
first? or
right,
anything?
exactly, right, because,
So regardless of which way y'all go, yeah, ADA has to
exactly,
be.
you have to comply with the ADA, definitely. There are some examples of the seat, it depends, from $300 to $1,000 per seat,
How much? How much was that?
300.
Oh, I thought you said 300,000. Bob, you're picking the wrong seats.
I'm sorry.
They'd be comfortable.
Recliners.
Yeah, and the seating, the aisles will be large enough so people don't have to get up. Right now, if somebody passing, they have to stand up and, let the other person.
I agree with you 100%.
They definitely keep you selling over 15 minutes.
That's something to talk about, yeah.
How much is that? Whatever it was.
I'm gonna leave it with you. It's up to the best of this.
The logical procession on this, then we'll do the ADA first, and then seating, and I'll consider thinking about your dressing area, or is it something that needs a higher priority on the dressing area, or? I would have to bring up ADA, whatever it is.
Right, but in auditorium, you have to have some sort of dressing, because otherwise people that's gonna come, they're performing, they have to have a dress.
So should we try to combine something like the ADA and the dressing area? Or
Yeah,
then
right,
go to the seats,
the chair, the ADA, the seating, and
then the wall panels, set back.
Right,
All right, anybody else have questions for Bob?
If you undertake the project and you have to have sprinklers for over 300 seats.
No, you don't have to have a sprinkler because if you're 300 and under,
Right.
you don't need a sprinkler.
Right, but as it is now, we would. So if we don't address the seats immediately, we'll be able to use the facility at all
Yes, that's
until the
fine.
seats are fixed or sprinklers are put in.
If it is as is, there's no need for a sprinkler.
Okay, but it doesn't take us into some type of requirement.
Right.
Okay, yeah.
But if we start a project, then we have to address that before we can occupy it.
Yes, ma'am.
So we have to do the seats if we do anything, because then we have to put sprinklers.
None? Go, if you go over 300 capacity, is when you gotta put sprinklers in.
Oh, it's okay, so it's not based on capacity of seating
We say
capacity, it's how
300.
many people we actually put in there.
300 or under, we don't have to do no sprinklers.
Okay,
Over
so
300.
we have 500 seats, we just can't put we won't put 300 people in there.
Do you have 500, does 500 people come to the auditorium sometimes?
Nothing.
If we had to, we could block off like all the seats,
Yeah.
like that, if there's gonna be any kind of interference with the codes or anything.
Just rub it off.
Just rub them off, until we get to the seats or something like that. Yeah, just off the-
Do we have to decide tonight where we're gonna start? Or we just doing like an overview?
Probably gives a little bit of direction from Bob, because, he'll look at, he'll make some direction on seats when we get to doing the seats. He'll have to, I guess he'll work out some estimates and things.
Correct.
For the 88 projects that you've got, you just need some direction on where good things.
Okay.
Right. Thank you so much, Council.
Thank you.
And the mayor.
Thank you.
Okay, 7F, consider approval of ordinance to ratify actions taken at the June 27th, 2022 meeting. And Logan is going to explain this to us.
Yeah, so we did approve the ZMA at the June 27th meeting. Me and Alice reached out to the UNC school government to see what all, just for precaution's sake, to see what we needed to do. They advised that anytime you do a ZTA or a ZMA, you have to do it with an ordinance. So what you've got tonight for 7F is the ordinance to ratify the actions that we had on June 27th. So you would approve that just like we did the June 27th vote. And you should have a recommendation on how to read it in the packet. Yeah, it's a paragraph.
So we need to ratify,
Yes.
so that's the first.
Yeah, if you read the first one, you're consistent with the actions you took June 27th.
That's what we want to do. Is that what we want to do?
Yeah.
I, Jody York, make a motion to ratify the ordinance, our action taken during our June 27th meeting to approve zoning map amendment 2022-1 to remove the mobile home park overlay at 208 US Highway 70 East. The request is consistent with the Town of Hildebran comprehensive plan and is in the public's best interest due to the need for increased residential density to support economic development and to promote population growth, as well as the request is consistent and in the best interest of the town due to the most recent majority decision to remove the overlay from the property.
And Jody, this is my apologies, but it also applies to 327 US Highway 70 East.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just go ahead and read, just also applies to 327 US Highway 70 East.
So that's the
327 US Highway 70 East.
okay, which also applies to 327 US Highway 70
East.
Okay, all in favor? Thank you. Okay, new business. 8A, call a special meeting to review, approve contract with West Consultants to design, bid, and oversee the Royal Park project.
Okay, yes, so we did get the contract from West Consultants. So, to review that, we can do it during a regular meeting. We didn't get it until last Friday, or it would have been put on this agenda. It was the only bidder that we got through the bidding process. That did meet state law, so we don't have to have multiple bidders. We did have to bid it out twice. We didn't receive a bid at all the first time. The second time we received the West Consultants bid. I wouldn't recommend waiting until the next meeting just because of the time. That puts them another month behind. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. But I would recommend sometime in the next 2 weeks. I won't be here the week of the 6th. I believe it is. Is that right? What's the date? Third through the 7th. Thank you. So yeah, anytime after that, if you want to review it, we would review the cost. We could review the contract. At that point, I would recommend to go on contract. But I would prefer the council at least review it.
So just have to pick a day.
Probably 30 minutes to an hour. Shouldn't be too long. You could do 5:30 if you wanted. If you wanted to do later, you could.
I'm flexible.
Close in the evening.
I like to have at least 6 o'clock, give me time to
That's
get
fine
home.
with me.
Do it 6 o'clock.
But I have more to me, have to come close to getting in in time.
Yeah, what day would work with everyone?
Look, if you're saying one of the first 2 weeks of October.
Yeah, second or third week.
Okay. Oh, second or third week.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can do it without me if you want.
No. Is there, anybody got calendars to think? So we're looking at this week or this week. I'm wide open.
It don't matter to me, just like I said, on 6 o'clock or after, I'm
We're on
good.
Monday, the 10th.
Now, do we have, when is the comprehensive master plan steering committee?
That should be on the 10th.
Would that be on the 3rd?
Oh,
I think it's the
The 10th of October.
10th of October, so yeah, probably wouldn't want to do it on Monday.
How about Tuesday, the 11th?
Tuesday, 11th. At 6. Is that gonna give you time?
Yeah, from 6 o'clock, I should be done, no problem. Unless something drastic happens.
No, we can look at that. 6 o'clock. Okay.
Okay. So we need a motion to vote for that.
Yes.
I'll make that motion.
All right. All in favor? So that's Tuesday, the 11th.
Yeah.
6 o'clock. Okay. All right, 8B, September facilities report. That's in your packet. Is there any comment on it?
From staff.
Okay. 8C, tax report. That's in your packet. 8D, deputy report. Is Gary out here? Okay, well, anyway, that's in your packet, so. Sorta?
Shorter.
Short, well, that's good.
Shorter.
Okay, if there's no comment on any of those, we go to 8E, committee reports. Okay. The technical coordinating committee.
Yes, I sent that agenda out today. We meet Wednesday.
Transportation advisory committee.
At the September 26th meeting, there were several revisions to the STIP, State Transportation Improvement Program. Construction to access road in Burke County Industrial Parks been delayed from fiscal year 22 to fiscal year 23 to allow additional time for utility road relocation. Improvements to SR 1687 Goat Farm Road, access road into the proposed industrial park have been delayed from fiscal year 22 to fiscal year 23 to allow additional time for preliminary engineering. construction to SR 1001 Colony Springs Road to replace the bridge 110010 over the Catawba River has been delayed from fiscal year 23 to fiscal year 24 to allow additional time to obtain all permits.
Thank you. Dr. Whistler, Piedmont Council Government Policy Board,
Which is tomorrow.
tomorrow. Burke Economic Development.
No, a big topic for BDI still is housing. So we do want to hit a 2% housing growth rate throughout the county on a yearly basis. One of the questions is just how do we get there? And I know one of the things we had tonight was housing. So, you know, just in terms of what you're looking for, where you're willing to have it, that's one of the things right now Rachel and the Comprehensive Master Plan Steering Committee are reviewing. So that'll be something that's obviously in the plan. In fact, in our last meeting, we did just review the current zoning map, the current use map. They're very different, but we did just redo the map recently in the last couple of years to try to help consolidate some of the uses and where they're at. So I feel confident moving forward. That'll be something good. But yeah, just one of the things they're looking to do is maybe BDI is looking to create a committee again to look at some creative solutions for housing. So that's something I wanted to take part in. I'll let them know that. And once we have updates on it, I'll let you know.
Okay, Recreation and Tourism,
Zero.
Water Resource Committee, Vedic.
You got it right.
Once in a while.
Yes, you do. Betty met on Zoom on August the 27th. Carrie did the financial reports and Eddie did the delinquent reports. Wasn't much going on. Carrie emailed us later in the month and said Forrest Fleming had passed away. That's on our board from Morganton. The September meeting was canceled. They have not rescheduled that meeting. So I don't know when the next one is, but Carrie will email us and let us know. That's not much going on.
You say Forrest had passed away?
Yes. I think his funeral was last week while I was out of town.
Burke County Library Board, our meeting is tomorrow. Comprehensive Master Plan Steering Committee.
It took,
The steering committee spent a lot of time going over the zone, was looking at possible things that we asked if anybody had any suggestions, we're trying to zero in and get it down where we need it. So pretty much the whole meeting was tied up on zoning matters.
Thank you. The Festival Committee. I guess our big thing was we want to do the parade. So how does the council feel about that? If the Festival Committee manages the parade, it'll be.
One of the biggest things if we do decide to do it, we need volunteers. I'm looking at you six. just as an FYI, in terms of responsibilities, that was something we were trying to nail down tonight. We don't necessarily have a list. However, day of is obviously something we would need help with in terms of getting people in line. Maybe even, what was the position name? The head of the parade, the Grand Marshal. She knows. She wasn't even there either. But yes, the Grand Marshal. So obviously the other thing, in years past, we've thrown candy, at least in some years. I think we did so in 2019. That's something a lot of council members don't know about, but we do not want to throw candy. Don't want to allow any parades, anyone in the parade to throw candy. The biggest issue you have is you're throwing candy out, and sometimes that candy doesn't make it where it's supposed to, and you're encouraging children, not intentionally, but to possibly get in the way of the flows. So you want to stay away from that. That's one of the things that they want, or possibly Go-kart. Terry, you have a,
Ice can throw the whole bag over.
Terry, you have a golf cart that was
I
talked
didn't
about?
talk to you about your golf cart.
Yeah, that was talked about. So, you know, what we might need is council members handing out candy. If you do, I know in years past, we've done a ride, you know, a convertible, but, this year, yeah, you may want to have certain council members or rotate, to actually hand out candy on the side. But on top of that, we would need help with getting things together. Alice and I are looking at redoing the forms, putting stuff on the website in terms of, making announcements. We talked about a timeline of receiving vendor applications from October 3rd until November 3rd, or roughly around that timeline, and getting those out sometime in the next week or two.
Budget,
Budget, they would like more money.
we like any money.
Yeah, so
No money.
well, that's true. So some type of budget from the council for this. We have, I think it's $800, but it's not a lot.
Give us a ballpark, I have no idea.
We talked
I have no
about
idea what to give.
hiring off-duty officers.
One of the biggest things would be, to maybe have Gary, he's back.
And we just stepped outside and discussed that earlier. As you know, we're shorthanded. The biggest thing about the parade is in the past, I've tried to get enough to have an officer on every corner of the parade. When we talk about, and I know you don't really want to hear this, but when we talk about active shooter, we look at events. Parades are one of those events. But no longer is active shooter. It's also thought of the use of weapons of mass destruction. When we say weapons of mass destruction, that's an F-250 truck going through a crowd. That's what it's come to now. So we need to be in positions that we can get to wherever we need to go without being tied down to one thing to do. Does that make sense? And that's kind of the way we've been doing it for the last couple of years. Instead of me leading it and being tied up in that, the sheriff would come down and he would lead it, but that would leave the other deputies to be able to do what they need to do in case something happened.
Sounds like a good plan to me.
Gary, what would be a budget for that?
There again, we did it while we were working that day on Saturday. Anytime you use any type of off-duty officers, is $30 an hour.
How many officers do you recommend?
I tried to have 4, including myself,
per hour,
one at each
4
corner.
hours, 3 hours.
That way, because the streets are closed, but with the traffic the way it is, for us to get to where we need to go, we need to get there quicker. So, you can't really put a price on savings, but other than, that's if we have enough resources to get that meeting. So, excuse me?
Yeah, we'll do 4 hours.
It's terrible that it's come to that, but
Yeah.
that's the society that we live in.
Is this something we normally advertise in the paper? We don't have to. I think it's just on the reports and Facebook. So in terms of a budget, you've got 800, you'd be looking at, 480, just for the deputies. So in terms of anything else you put into it monetarily, I don't know, you might want a rough budget of $2,000. Let's see where it goes from there. Maybe more, I don't know.
Okay. I'll make a motion for that's what it takes.
Okay. All in favor of that? Thank you. All right.
We need to, well, that was a vote for a budget. 2,000. And in terms of responsibilities, who as a council member would, want to attend and possibly help out at least when able? It would be December 3rd at 1 p.m.
But did they start by 11:12?
We probably need volunteers for what, about 11:30.
Yeah, 11:30.
Okay,
And do you set react and pay them too?
Does anybody have an idea of what
They haven't passed.
HHDA's budget is for REACT?
how much is it each cruising?
250 a cruising.
How
That's one
much?
street. 250 a cruising, but that's one street. South
You do
Should be close to
250
4.
So, 1,000 plus 480 for deputies, you'd be almost at
We've been passed
1,500.
and it didn't. They've always done React one thing.
I'm sorry, what?
React has always provided service. How much have you paid them?
They've done it for free.
Oh, did they? Okay.
Well, I mean, I'm saying, I think then they want a donation to help
Yes,
out.
that is correct. I remember that.
I think it's what we've done before, give them donation. So what I was doing, about. I might be wrong.
So what was the recommendation of staff?
We gotta have some.
2,000.
It was 2, but yeah,
One need to,
yeah. So, yeah, we did a budget amendment for 2,000, we have 800, we have 20 at the total. Maybe just start there, and if we get closer, well, we can look to add some type of, a change to the same meeting we have the, West Consultants. We need to up it. Alright.
Is that all in the parade?
Yes, unless Karen, yeah, that's all.
9, other business. Earlier, during public comment, the Eastbrook Youth asked about the rent for the gym. Is that something we could talk about now, or do you want to put it on next agenda?
Yeah, I'd prefer to put it on the next agenda.
just lay it over the next table for next meeting.
Okay.
Is there information that you guys would like us to get before the next meeting concerning that?
Yeah, what needs to be done in the gym to make it acceptable?
Can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
At the bottom, or the bottom, which is on the back side of the page, I also listed the floor that had been redone 2 years ago, I believe it was, if I'm not mistaken. Parts of that is coming up. So if there was a warranty on that, it needs to be done as soon as possible to make sure the warranty is still valid. And the lockers that were purchased were put into the gym and not attached to a wall. So those might as well not be there. When we have events in there, we put stuff up against them to keep the kids away from them because we don't want them falling on kids.
They're joined together, but if they open them.
No, they're supposed to be attached.
They're not.
And the other set of lockers that are in the front part of our room removes part of our storage area. So we have even less storage area. Those lockers are going to be made available to people renting the gym. And those are not attached to the wall either.
Is this a list of everything that all the problems that you've
No.
list of things that needs to be repaired. This is the first time I've been hearing about much of this. So maybe we need to evaluate the gym, go through, make a list of all the things that need to be
I would say,
Try to make some progress towards getting there, we want a safe facility to be able to use a nice facility. And we just need to know what we're looking at.
Yeah, one of the conversations council's gonna need to have when you review the auditorium is the list of things they brought to you. Cause you do have quite a few projects on the books. One of my things about it is I think your park's gonna come in more than what we've budgeted for. Now, everything's up, contractors are up, materials are up, it's hard to get labor. So you're really gonna need to look at, you're gonna need to make a priority list. What your priorities are, when you wanna spend it. One of the things I think that gets forgotten a lot is we're a 15-cent town, we're not Hickory. And you don't have the fund balance to do everything, to meet everything. However, you do have the money to meet certain needs. So it just comes down to what's most important. And hearing from your citizens helps, because that, no, it helps. So when you go to make those decisions, you want to be informed. So
I would like to add one additional thing. I'm sorry to keep interrupting, but we don't want the gym to end up like the other part of this building. There are huge electrical issues in that building. And this was brought up to the last two maintenance people.
Well, if there are electrical issues that we need to.
That needs to be addressed now.
when we say electrical issues,
You got switches that you jiggle it, it'll either come on or it'll go off. Take your picks.
The lights under the front of the gym
Outside.
don't work.
I was told it was just a fuse and it was replaced, but we can,
There's no fuse.
okay,
Just
well,
breakers.
No, those lights haven't worked in probably.
There's one breaker on the second panel. It won't even stay on. No idea what it goes to. Most of the stuff in there is not labeled.
Does council remember the last time that gym was really looked at?
It's been several years ago, on council prior, Karen was there at the time. We actually did a walkthrough on a lot of the facilities, did some upgrades and improvements, but I don't know if there's any list or record of that anymore. But we do need to find out what we need to do, what needs to be done, and then we can.
The electrical issue, I think needs to be done first and
Yeah.
foremost,
Anything else?
because you know, that's
Yes.
a safety issue.
Sparking,
No, I don't think.
so it's just not working though, when you say electrical.
Half the plugins don't work and that one breaker keeps tripping.
So there's a few things we need to look at, but if we can get us a list, then we can prioritize the list of the electrical first.
Speaking of the four-wheeler, who takes care of that, cleans it up? I was wondering if
It's supposed to be our maintenance thing,
Okay.
but we did just have the floor.
Using the right stuff, was warned about that before.
Well, no, we actually hired that out, to Sports Flooring Group, and they warranty that, and give that to us every year, or every year we do it. I think we might have skipped a year in COVID when we didn't use it, as much, but yeah, no, there's a warranty for that.
All right, is there any other business?
I just want, find out, what the council thinks about getting like a list for Locke to use to focus his attention, moving from here out rather than wait for a month for us to get back together. Like, do we want to focus on the ADA and the backstage? Let him focus on that area first, and then we can come back and look at the rest of it, and we'll get that part, or, something so Locke will have something to, we need to give him some guidance pretty much.
Well, I guess the ADA has to be first.
Seats and ADA, yeah, start the seating first.
The seats and ADA.
ADA.
Backstage.
Not saying it all's not gonna be done, but that's something that needs to be, that's a starting point.
If we give him a priority, we can probably give him a priority list, I'm thinking, so we can get his attention focused on where we need to go. So, if we got a consensus on the council, we'll go. Just put it out there, if anybody's got any ideas or suggestions. I know the ADA needs to be the first thing to look at.
One of your first suggestions, the sound quality in the auditorium. I think that's one of the first things you brought up.
It doesn't, auditorium, the sound, the reverberation time, it's, it does have some echo and some, sort of, sometimes it's a deadening sound, it doesn't reverberate. So audience cannot really get the full benefit of performance, especially if it is a theatrical or musical, speech probably be okay.
Another concern brought up initially is if you can't hear, then it doesn't really matter. But what's going on there? So,
It's a big auditorium, 500 capacity.
Was that all?
Yeah, so we just want to focus on the ADA, and then I guess it was consensus of the council to approve the seats thing, because you'll have to make some, make some suggestions on, seats range from $300 to $1,000, we need to sort of get a little guidance still, I think, so we keep at least trying to move forward on it.
Well, and the other thing about it is you got your state capital infrastructure grant, that's $150,000. I reached out to the Office of State Budget Management last week. So you have a contract with them that we have to report on this money. That contract runs out June 30th of next year. So whatever work you do, given the point we're at now, I don't think you're gonna have that money spent. So you're gonna have to extend that date to expend those funds. However, one of the things you're gonna have to decide on, not right now, not tonight, but whatever decisions you make with the auditorium, luckily we set that money aside for either the auditorium or the park project. So we know you're gonna be underway with your park project probably next April or May. Again, in terms of the fund balance, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter which one you use it on. You can use it for either. It's gonna save your fund balance. However, depending on how long we wait and decide on the auditorium, depending on how quickly we can get the work done, you may have to push those funds to the park. But again, it's not gonna matter, which one you use it on, because you're saving fund balance regardless. But that just may be a conversation we have to have in the future.
Okay, anything else? Any announcements?
Mayor, Chad Powell is here to do his quarterly review.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I'll make this brief because past my bedtime. All right. Nice to see y'all again. I'm Chad Powell, the code enforcement officer for the town, employed by Western Piedmont Council of Governments. You have in front of you my monthly report for September, as well as the quarter 3 report for 2022. I'm just going to briefly go over the statistics that we got for Q3. So that is the time period between July and September. Our total violations were 53. Breakdown of those violations are for nuisance, trash, junk, and debris. We had 19. Nuisance, grass, or plant overgrowth, had 18 of those. Junk or nuisance vehicles, we had 11 cases. Mental housing, 3 cases. And non-residential buildings, minimum standards, had 2 cases. Our Q3 resolved violations, we had 42 resolved. And a breakdown of those, we had 16 nuisance, trash, junk, and debris resolved. 15 nuisance, grass, and plant overgrowth. 10 junk or nuisance vehicles, and 0 minimum housing resolved this quarter, and we had 1 non-res issue resolved. These resolved violations reflect only the ones from Q3, not any that were open prior to Q3 that were closed out, and we had a couple that extended out. But that is a rundown of what I've got for the quarter. If you guys have anything for me, feel free to ask away. Otherwise, I appreciate it working for you.
Thank you, we appreciate it.
Good job, we appreciate it.
All right, so I missed anybody else? Anybody else want to talk? All right, so I guess there's one thing left to do.
Make a motion for dismiss the meeting.
Uh-huh.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. All in favor? Thank you.